What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Auburn spread playbook in college football 25. This is the Hugh Freeze offense. He's been around for a long time, a pretty good coach. He's done some really good things at Ole Miss. He's trying to turn Auburn around. It's not been the easiest things to do. Done a really good job at Liberty. He was one of the first to really implement RPOs. Now, this playbook has some RPOs. It's not a ton, but there's enough in here for you to enjoy. But just think, this is a very shotgun-heavy playbook, but it's got a few other cool things as well in terms of formations and personnel types and whatnot. So we're going to go over all the formations, concepts, play types, and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video, you have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So again, this is a spread playbook, so expect a lot of shotgun. We're going to cover this last. Let's start off with pistol. We got a few formations here. Starting off, you off. This is a 12 personnel look. We got 6 plays there. And then we got doubles, 11 personnel. So let's go back to you off. We only got 6 plays, and normally what I like to do is try to find the pre-snap motion mini schemes. Those are really fun to work off of in terms of building your offense. But this one's basic run, some play action, nothing too extravagant here. If you go over to doubles, kind of the same thing. Just basic run, play action, a little bit of drop back built into it, but we do got a little pre-snap motion right here. We got a touch pass, we got an inside zone, and we got a pass fake halfback play. But I'm going to go ahead and call this touch pass. Let's go up against something random nickel. There's not a ton of pre-snap motion, some of these formations from the pistol, but you do have some right here. If I can get a block right there, not bad. Going to pick up a few yards. Either way, it's kind of built in if you need it. So it's just another way to throw some jet sweep at a defense without having to be in the shotgun. So you got a little bit of it there. Let's talk about single back. We got one single back formation, but it's really neat. It's Y-off trio, 15 plays, but it's got a lot of pre-snap motion built into it. We got PA motion slide. We got the zone weak on top of that. But notice who some of the players are doing the motion. The motion slide, that's a tight end motion. You look at motion zone weak, that is the slot receiver coming in, which I think is pretty cool. I'm actually going to call that one. Again, just a really weird play. He's going to come in, and then you're going to just do a basic zone after that. See if I can find a crease there. Not bad. But notice it's not the default formation. So if you go back, look at the formation itself. By default, it's 11 personnel. You got your tight end in there. I'm pretty sure 13 is the tight end. Let me just want to make sure. Yeah, he is the number 1 tight end. Okay, so, but look, he's off the line. But when you come over here, he's in the slot at a motion zone weak, which I think is really cool. But then you go like a play action motion post dig. Now he's back to his original spot. So you got that play. Then we got inside zone split. So that tight end is motion again. Now we got Y shallow cross. That's a Z motion. I'm going to go ahead and call that one. Go ahead and call it something random out of nickel. Pretty much shallow cross over the middle with a little pre-snap motion built in. We'll just call that he's going to get hit. I should have went to somebody else. Either way, really cool play. Again, just a nice little pre-snap motion play that built off those other plays that we are looking at. So you keep on going. We're not done, if I'm not mistaken. Look, we got another Z motion, that mesh. I love mesh. I'm going to go ahead and call that. Let's see if I can redeem myself with this play right here. I'll probably just read the mesh itself. Little window dressing, bring him over, wide open right there, easy yardage, really cool stuff. You know, again, you got random types of motion out of one formation all by itself, and it's a single back formation of all things. So you keep on going. We got a basic wide receiver screen, halfback power, play action. So it's a lot of basic under center stuff, but with a lot of window dressing with the pre-snap motion and some other cool things built into it. But we're not done. We got a wildcat formation, unbalanced. We got 6 plays here, and as you would imagine, it's all pre-snap motion with jet sweep heavy setup. We got basic power and counter blast on top of that. So you got some nice personnel or formation variety. You got a little pistol, you got a single back formation, and you even got a wildcat. And now we're going to head into the main part of the playbook, which is all the shotgun. The first formation we have a split slot offset. This is a 20 personnel look, 2 backs and 3 wide receivers. We got 9 plays there. We got wing slot offset. This is 12 personnel. Then we get into doubles Y off. Now we're going to see a bunch of 11 personnel going forward. So you got 12 plays on that one. Stack Y off trips, Y off trips weak, Y trips offset weak, trips tight end offset. Then we get a double stack. Notice your tight end 13, he's still out there. Spread halfback weak, same thing, he's still out there, so it's 11 personnel. Then we get into spread double flex. He's still out there again. Then we get into our first 10 personnel look. Trips, all 4 wide receivers are out there, and we got the weak version of that. So if you need to go 4 wide, you got plenty of it in here. And we're not done. We got trio 4 wide receivers strong, another 4 wide look. And then we got empty trio. So your top halfback and your top tight end is in this empty trio. So this is technically an 11 personnel look. So I love the personnel variety that we have between all of these formations. But when we go back to the gun, again, I want to look for those little mini schemes, especially the pre-snap motion stuff, because they all go together really well. Out of the gate, we got motion Y cross, a read swing, and we got a double pass. I'm going to call this swing. Pretty simple stuff here. You got a basic swing. What I could do is could hit that little hitch on the backside. I think they're going cover 0 here, if I'm not mistaken, according to that look. But what I'll probably do, since nobody's going with a halfback, I'm just going to throw it to him. Get some real easy yardage here. We may even get a touchdown. It'll be close. Great play all around. Again, very simple. That's just another way to get the ball to your top halfback. You keep on going. There's that double pass we talked about. We got Y stick, inside zone, motion, play action, double post. Now we got more pre-snap motion. Motion PA stutter go. We got a triple option. We got a spot. So that entire formation is nothing but pre-snap motion. Pretty neat. Wing slot offset. Do we have any pre-snap motion here? We do not. What about doubles Y off? Nope. Stack Y off? Yes, we do. We got some jet sweep action. We got the jet sweep. We got a pass power. We got a vertical look on top of that. There's the actual jet sweep, which is the touch pass. Then we got zone fake jet. Then we got play action on top of that. So that's 6 plays right there. You keep on going. Y off trips. Do we have any here? We do. We got some tight end looks. And that is zone split, PA motion slide, wide lead read option. I'm going to call this lead read option. I'm not the best at these, but I just wanted to call it. So we got a 2 high look. Let's see. I'm not the best one at reading that backside defensive end, but I've done that one correctly. At least I thought I did. My tight end didn't block very well. Either way, you got that built in. Again, just more pre-snap motion. We'll keep on going. Is that it for that one? Yes. What about Y off trips week? Do we have any here? Yes, we do. We got some more halfback swing. We got the swing. We got a spot. We got a pump and go. You keep on going. Y trips offset week. More halfback swing. We got a Z spot. We got a pump and go. Another basic swing. Is that it for this formation? It is. What about trips, tight end, offset? Do we have any here? We do not. Double stack. Normally, the more spread out you go with your formations, the less pre-snap motion you'll see, but you just never know. Spread double flex. Do we have any here? We do not. What about trips? I don't see any. And then we got trips, halfback weak. Then we got 4 wide receiver strong, and then we got an empty trio. We got a touch pass, a jet sweep out of that formation, which is, again, it's very rare. So there's a ton of pre-snap motion. So I think you'll really like that, but there's a lot of good variety, again, in the types of formations and personnel. Speaking of, let's look at this. So 11 personnel. This is going to be the bulk of it, as you would expect with most spread playbooks. But we do got some other ones to look at. There's your 20 personnel, that split slot offset from the gun. There's your wildcat. You come down here, there is your 12 personnel. If you need a couple tight ends in there, you got a couple formations. Then we got 10 personnel. This is probably the best thing I like about it. It's not strictly 11 personnel like most spread playbooks. I have enough of the 4 wide stuff to fool around with if needed. There may be some seasons where your 4th best receiver is better than your number 1 tight end. It can very well happen, just depending on how your recruiting goes. So that is it for the formations of personnel. Let's talk about the concepts. This is what really makes up a scheme. Notice the play count. It's a decent size playbook, not the biggest one out there, but not the smallest either. Let's start off with the runs. It says we have 5 counters. If you got that much counter, you probably don't have that much power, which we do. We got 6 powers. So you kind of keep that in mind. There's 11 total plays there. We got a few draws, but we got 19 inside zones. The bulk of your run game is going to be inside zone, even with all those RPOs we talked about, or we will look at. Again, it's going to be a lot of zone heavy. Then we got 4 outside zones. So these 2 go well together, and then we got 1 sweep. So it just depends on your run game. You got plenty of gap scheme running if you need it with a counter or power, but as you can tell, you're going to spend most of your time on basic zone running. Let's look at the option. I'm going to go ahead and click that. So RPO, starting off peaks, we got 6 of those. Notice the variety here. We got the read swing we looked at earlier. We got a peak slant. I'm not the best at those. The Y flat I like. RPO bubble Y pop is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and call that one. Let's go up against like a cover 0. Maybe I can pull this off with a tight end. over the top. Can he get it? Good coverage. Either way, I really like that. I probably should have thrown it much harder. Either way, really cool play. I like those. Keep on going. And I like the bubble to go with that. Then you got, a slant, another peak slant. You got a zone stick. So look at the variety of different types of RPOs we have here. That's just out of the peak concept. We got one inverted veer. We got 10 read options. If you're going to do any type of basic option, you'll probably do it here more than anything else. But notice they're basic reads, and they're all pretty much zone running. You don't see any pulling guards or anything other than this cake read option. Then we got one triple. That's that motion triple option we saw, the split slot formation. We got 7 reads. So these are more of your glance routes, but there's a Y flat. You got little wide receiver screens, another bubble with a backside hitch. Then we get into 13 RPO alerts. These are your more bubble and alert screen heavy. I'm a big alert guy. I think those are great. I'm going to go ahead and call, let's go up against nickel. So notice I'm a big fan of these, mainly because they're just a very simple pre-snap read. That corner on the right is 8 yards off of my receiver. So this will be a very simple throw to make. If I was towards the left hash, we could have got a lot more yards out of that, but that's easy yardage right there. Those are very simple. I like them. You keep on going. We have more alerts, some more bubbles. We even got some shocks. If you like the LSU spread RPO type RPOs, those are really fun to go with. Then we got more shock, but again, a lot more bubble. So you got plenty of RPO variety there. Let's look at some quick passes. So we got 5 Ohios. This is actually a really high number. I'm going to go ahead and call, we'll go up against random nickel. This is basically go out. These are a little bit deeper to my liking, but I'm gonna go ahead and go over here. Very simple read on that one. Either way, 5 is again a really high number. Most of them barely have 1 or 2 of Ohio, but you pick a side you like and you kind of work off of that, especially depending on the defensive numbers on either side. We got 1 Omaha, we got a scat, we got 11 slants. If you have that much slant, we should have that much stick. So let's go over to stick. We only got 5. But stick and slant tend to go together, but notice we just got way more slant than stick. So this is more old school quick passing than it is basic air raid. But you do got a little stick if you need that, though. And we do got 1 spacing. So you got a little bit of variety here in your quick passing game. It's not just 1 or 2 things like a lot of playbooks contain. Let's go to look at the mediums. Go here. We got slot crosses. We got 5 of these. This is pretty much air raid type Y cross stuff. I'm going to call this motion Y cross, because I like the little pre-snap motion. We'll go against random nickel here. They're going cover 2, I think. Can I hit that? Nice. Oh, I dropped it. I saw he had the leverage over his corner. Either way, Y cross if you need it. Again, that's just more air raid. I don't know if Hugh Freeze has that big air raid background, but you're going to see some of the concepts he's going to use here, and you can decide for yourself. But we got 7 choice plays. Pretty much any option route they're going to dump here. And that's a play that has that. We got 12 curl plays. So just think curls, hitches, just a nice Friday here. I'm going to call a basic curl flat out of empty. Let's go up against a dime, something like that. So in this case, you pick a side you think you got the least amount of defenders to go with. Looks like we got less defenders on the right side, so I'm going to read left to right. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Yep, he's wide open over there. He just dropped it. I threw a little bit too late on that one. But either way, I love curl flat. Been around forever and a day. So you got plenty of those, 12 to be exact. You got 5 double moves. You got 4 drives. That's pretty much shallow cross, but going to the same side with your drag and your dig. You got levels. You got 5 of these, and just like an extra drag thrown on top of that. We got 7 mesh. So here we go. A little bit more air raid. I'm going to go ahead and call this mesh one of the pre-snap motion. Love me some air raid if I can read it correctly. This one's from under center. Come over here. Easy yardage there. Again, mesh, you just can't win a doubt. Call mesh. I'm here to tell you, Mike Leach knew what he was doing when he ran that play a million times. We got a couple pivots. So we got 5 Salems. We got a shake. We got 5 shallow cross. So shallow cross, again, exact opposite of drive. Your drag and your dig are going opposite directions here. Very good concept. We got 14 smash. If you need a little high-low looks on one side of the field or both, you got different types. You got old school smash. You see where smash halfback check with a hitch and a flag. Then you got corner strike if you need a corner flat combo. It's up to you. I think both of them work pretty well in this game. We got 9 spot. If you need a little old school pro style / West Coast, you have some of that here. 9 is actually a really high number for a spread playbook. Then we got one Texas route. You see the little halfback angle route right there. So look at all, there's a bunch of different concepts here. I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's look at some deep passing. We got a little bit less here. We got 6 floods. I'm a big flood guy, backside man beater with a zone concept on the other. Then we got 17 verticals. Even for me, that seems kind of high, but it's a spread playbook. But if you need to go over the top, you need to attack those safeties and those lanes and whatnot, this is a great place to do that. We got 7 switch. If you need a little run and shoot, you got some of that built in. We got 10 comebacks. It's only natural to have so many curl combos we saw earlier to have this much comeback to go with it. And I love comeback. Good against man. At least that route is. Then we got 1 dagger. We got 2 divides. We got a double dig. We got 6 double posts. I'm not the biggest fan of this concept. Some people are probably better at it than I am. We got 1 go concept. We got 3 meals. That's just pretty much a post with a dig underneath it. And then we got 4 Portlands with a bunch of shot plays. So all those inside zones we looked at earlier, these are the play actions built on top of those for the most part. All right, play action. It says we only have 5, but we know better. It says we got a couple of boots and we got 3 slides, but we're going to look at some other ones a little bit later. Screens, it says we got 21 total, but a lot of these are RPOs we looked at earlier. It says we got 13 bubbles if you're into the true bubble look. Then we got some flanker screens. These are all your little alerts and basic still screens. That's why I call the ones where he just kind of stands still. All right, if you go to play type, this is where you really go find those other screens. So go over to screen pass. We got 17 true old school screens, halfback slip screens, wide receiver screens. Your non-RPO based screens are all going to be right here. And then we got 33 play actions. 33 is a lot more than 5 of what we saw earlier, but we got a little bit of everything. So here's another cool thing about Hugh Freeze I didn't mention earlier. He's very tricky. He loves those special type plays, those trick plays. We got a reverse pass. We got a reverse flea flicker. I'm going to go ahead and attempt this. Forgive me if this fails miserably. Sometimes it just doesn't work all that well. Sometimes they just don't work well at all with that. But either way, they're in there if you need them. I'm going to keep on going, but look at all the different type of play action we got here. More than what you would ever need. So inside zone, run play action. If you're not going to do any of the some of the RPO stuff, you'll probably go back and forth if I had to guess. Let's look at the runs in a different way. We got 28 inside handoffs compared to just 4 outside. So the bulk of your run game, even from those RPOs, will be between the tackles. We got a pitch. We got those 5 counters we looked at earlier. We got a few draws, not many. We got a fullback run, and we got some QB runs. So this is the other thing I was want to talk about. So some of this is from the Wildcat, but don't forget this gun stack Y off play. I'm going to go ahead and call this. So if you got a quarterback that can run it a little bit, this is a nice, simple, just basic QB run. If you can find good blocking and get some yards out of it. This is for those who don't want to deal with the option side of things with the QB. All right, so that is your basic runs. We only got 12 options. So this is not an option playbook. It's got some reads, it's got some speeds, but just not a ton. But there's enough in there if you need them. I think you're going to spend the bulk of your time, though, right here with RPOs, inside zone, and all of these play actions that we saw earlier. So, again, a nice little variety of things. Notice all these RPOs. We got 26 of those. So it just kind of comes down to what you're looking for. I think this is a really cool playbook. I love the formation variety. Not every play needs to be from the shotgun. You got a little pistol, got a little single back, you got a little wildcat. Not every play needs to be from 11 personnel. You got plenty of 10 personnel. You got plenty of the 2 tight end looks. And then you throw in all those RPOs we looked at. You could do a little bit of option. It's just got a very nice variety of everything for it being a spread playbook, if that makes sense. I like it, and I think you will too. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.